This meeting is being videotaped and will be on Channel 9.
Roll call.
Mr. Doyle?
Here.
Mrs. Blaine?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Marsh?
Here.
Mayor Bruno?
Here. Before we go to the first public portion on the ordinance 023, I'd like to make a motion to table that.
Table.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Blaine?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
O 2023.
2023.
It's 02023.
That's correct.
The rental property registration.
Is that one? Sorry. Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion to open the first public portion for resolutions and ordinances below?
Big Rich for the first public portion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Good evening. I understand there's introduction, I believe, of a street vacation that involves a property that I purchased from the township. In researching this, I spoke to the county clerk's office, and they indicated that when I bought this property, the deed that was provided by the township needed to be fixed because it doesn't have one of the lots that I purchased on it. And they said, they had a note that they did notify the town, but they don't have anything for me to show that they actually did notify the town. I have my tax bill here that shows the lots that I own, and I have my
Mayor,
deed.
I can deal with that directly with Ms. Halpern. There was a matter involved the previous tax collector, and I can't do it in 5 minutes, but I got the same communication you did. We need to, I don't disagree, it needs to be straightened out.
Okay.
Not prepared this evening to straighten it out, but
Okay.
aware of it,
It will be taken care of.
based on that action.
Okay, so it'll match my tax bill when it's all
Well,
done.
we have to go through it, and I'll walk through it with you, because there's some, it needs to be rectified, I don't disagree.
Okay. The other thing is on the street vacation, you need an updated deed. Obviously, I can't do that without rectifying this first. And you're asking for an updated survey. Well, this property's never been surveyed. It never even had a deed before.
Mayor, I could deal with this directly with
Okay.
Ms. Halpern. I don't want to litigate it back and forth.
Okay.
The vacations on that property are very unique. I don't
Right.
disagree with you. So we can,
Work it out.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Good evening, Cindy Merckx, Chaplain. I have, maybe you can give me a little bit more information regarding the ordinance and the private sale on the certain land in the township to be sold at private sale. Are you going to give some description to us about what exactly is this all about?
We'll have that information for the public hearing, correct, Matt?
But to put it quite directly, it's the Meredith Farm that we're under contract, redevelopment agreement to sell. Overall, these years, there's never been an enabling ordinance to transfer the property. The buyer is now prepared to go to closing, so this is a mechanical requirement to get to the closing from our side.
Is there any more details regarding what this agreement is, or when are we going to be able to hear about this all?
The agreement? The Meredith Farms agreement? It's the original. Been
It was-
around for 13 years.
I know that one. I was on that committee for over a year. Okay, so I'm aware of that. I guess my concern is, how did we decide to go in this direction? I mean, who made those decisions to put this out to a private sale?
He exercised his right to purchase.
He did. That's what I'm trying.
sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Well, a lot of things happen, but I'm trying to get to when did this all come about and what happened?
Basically, he's working off the original 13-year-old lot.
Okay,
This isn't a new person or a new deal, but
Now,
basically we had said,
they've worked the
Something.
diligence on their end so that they can proceed at this point.
has everybody up here read that agreement, or everybody is happy with it?
happy with it?
Yeah. I just would like to know. I mean, it's something that,
It's something that was done before all of us.
I know that. I mean, what's going on now with making this sale and where this all ends up? I know Mike was on that committee for a while, and I know you were frustrated when I was there that things just weren't moving fast enough, and it was just like everything was dragging their feet. So, at this point, have you read the new documents and everything with that?
I don't think there's anything new. This is from 2000.
It's just letting him settle this out. Is that the easiest way to put it?
Yeah, it is.
And we'll be out of this agreement for once and for all.
We're done. Right on there.
Well,
Like, there's no where we have to give him a 20-year tax abatement and all this little caveats.
it's all part of the original agreement.
I know, so that won't be there anymore, right? Okay, they're the kind of things I was wondering where this was going.
But again, this governing body's not deciding to enter into that agreement.
Okay, right.
As part of the closing, when they did their diligence to be prepared to go forward, and now the title company is asking us for this, when a municipality transfers the
Right.
land, this is the mechanical document. One would have thought over the last so
Sure.
many years that was done. In our review, it hasn't, so it's an obligation on our side of the table to close
Okay,
in order for us to get the proceeds and the property to transfer.
okay.
And still paying taxes.
Well, that would be nice. After 13 years of not having to, and then being able to,
Houses put in the grass.
oh yeah, and all the things that we were required to do.
Down there still on top.
Okay. Just wanted to, make sure we were on the right page and it was the same deal and all that kind of stuff, because I haven't heard anything about it at the meetings that I have attended. So thank you very much.
Good evening, Jason Brandt, 688 Rosemont Avenue. In reference to the last individual's comments, maybe you guys should check the website or something, because when I look at the website, I'm able to pull up all the ordinances that are on the agenda and read them in detail. So I'm not sure if certain people aren't getting those or what, but they were available. Were you able to see them or not?
I don't have to answer you. You're dealing with it there. If you want
Okay, maybe you got, yeah.
argument,
I don't know.
we can have one outside, Jason.
I'm not trying to have an argument. I'm just saying the information was available online, so.
Thanks for the intro there. Dave Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. I went through, as we had a full house the last time this was brought up about the fair share housing. I'm not going to go through all those details again, but one of the decisions that night was that we were going to have a chance to have a open public discussion about it, and did that happen and I missed it, or did it just know that never came about? All right, any particular reason, or just time got away from everybody?
I think the question was if we could change anything from a legal standpoint. We don't think we can. It's a state mandate.
I understand that, but it still can be mitigated drastically different than what it is, and that comes down to decisions of board members. But we were going to have a public discussion so everybody could be aware of this. That was keeping the public informed, to be transparent, and give everybody a chance to at least hear what was going on. And I'm just wondering why we haven't gone down that path. I mean, this is the issue we've had all year with this discussion with transparency. I'm just wondering where the ball got dropped. I mean,
The discussion's been going on for what, 10 years? 12 years?
8+.
so that's the answer. We just, it's because of the discussion already going on in the past, the public that wanted to hear something isn't going to get it now?
No, I discussed that last meeting.
I know you did. That's
That was
what
my suggestion.
I know you did, and everybody agreed with it, from what I understood, and it sounded like a good idea, and the public was all happy about it.
I did my research.
Okay.
It's impossible to change.
Well, I understand.
Not
It's
impossible, but
right.
It was just something that was done,
At
and
this point in the game.
it just can't go. And having that meeting would have been just frustration levels through the roof, and would have been unproductive. It would not have been worth the yelling, screaming that we could not change. So I was talking to the line. I did my research on the fair housing, the law, the act. It was something that was done, has been litigated, and I don't think from what I did my research, it'd be impossible to change without a judge's decision.
In 2 years, they're gonna change it.
Yeah.
I understand that.
The time to debate it is at a state level. Because by the time it gets to our level,
But once again, that public portion would have given you that insight to debate it. I mean, it's that simple. It's just keeping the public involved. It's nothing real hard.
I understand completely.
I know you did because you're the one that suggested it. It was a great idea. It
When
just,
I was making my phone calls and doing my reading, and it would have been an unproductive meeting, which would have been back and forth yelling, arguing.
it could
It
have.
would have been absolutely, like I said, unproductive.
Right, and it could have. I always like hearing different viewpoints because sometimes as much as you like to think you think of everything, sometimes you don't.
I think you need to write it down for the next 2 years and go for round 2. And we start all over again.
see what the new mandate is,
Yeah.
and then how we can work with that. And then, I think the problem with this, when it first came around, people weren't paying attention. I didn't know about it.
Oh, no, I'm guilty of that. I'll admit to it. I
So
was-
we learn from our mistakes, and on the next round, everybody be engaged, try to get the best deal for everybody.
Well, I like that idea, but again, it's got to have that public ability to be engaged. And that has to happen.
I'm hoping we can do it.
All right, well, like I said, it's a big effort, but it's something that's well worth it. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Chris Sayers, 184 Malaga Lake Boulevard. Just a few questions about Meredith Farms and then on to affordable housing. Meredith Farms, I believe, so I looked into who Downtown Urban Renewal is, and it's basically a shell company for Stanker and Galetto. So they're basically purchasing the property. They're using their option. Now, under the old contract, they were going to get a 25% finder's fee. Is that applicable to them purchasing the property themselves? Are they going to get 25% bonus on top of what they're purchasing?
Yeah, I mean, they are purchasing it directly, so I'm not sure how that would work, but not to my knowledge. None of the
agreement
terms
never
we
said
changed.
anything about that.
Yeah. So out of the 1.1 million that we're selling it for, 1.4 that we're selling it for, there's not going to be a 25% taken out of that given to Stanker and Galetto for that. Okay.
No, not out of our not out of our
Okay.
side.
They can take it out of there.
Yeah. So also with Meredith Farms, it's unique in our township because it's one of the few places that has a sewer capacity. Did anybody find out, I know this was a stipulation also in the discussions with them, if they're able to take that sewer capacity and use it elsewhere outside of Meredith Farms?
You can't move it.
It stays with the property?
Correct.
Okay. And then that's my only questions for Meredith Farms. And secondly, about the affordable housing, I just want to reiterate what Dave Marshall said, that, I thought the whole reason we were tabling the affordable housing was not necessarily to change the inevitable, but just to get some community feedback in it. And I guess the plans never just came together to get community feedback.
Nobody found anything that we could change. I
Yeah.
You had researched a bunch of stuff. And
Yeah.
I remember saying, hey, bring it to us. I want you
No, and I agree.
to see it.
When it comes to the number of affordable houses, I said I did my due diligence and I saw that you guys did your best. Like, pretty much every township gets roughly the same amount of an allotment of 600 and some affordable housing units. My concern was just the overlay being very Malaga heavy. And I just didn't know. Again, I'm still kind of confused as to who chose the spots on the overlay map to choose those areas to put the affordable housing. And that's kind of what I wanted the community feedback from, was to kind of figure out why they're there. Like, I just want, people to listen to the community more than CME as to what goes on in the town. I think that's a more responsible approach. So I just didn't, that's my main concern, is the overlay map as to where the bulk of these units go. So, all right, well, thank you. Have a good night.
Hello,
Hi.
my name's John Matheson. I live at 800 Grand Avenue, around the corner from, actually across the stream from Grigowski's property. I misspoke last time. I called it Garapo's property. Mr. Grigowski, I guess, owns that Grigowski, large tract of land off of Freeze Mill Road with right down the street from Delsey High School, I guess. I guess I don't understand exactly how they're doing this, considering everybody's had to have like 2+ acres of land to build a house all these years. Now, this affordable housing thing is going in. We're going to just flip the whole township charter over and just let them build low-income housing projects. It seems like, I don't know what's going to be built there, but it's right across the stream from me. I mean, I'm going to have kids party in my backyard, I guess, and I'm supposed to just, apparently nobody showed up for this, but I guess that nobody told anybody it was going to go down like this. But I don't know how you guys can do
This is
this.
just an introduction. This isn't the public hearing.
No. What
There's no
happened?
actual
No action.
application or project, it's a state mandated requirement.
We're taking no action tonight either.
Good, good. That's nice to hear.
It wasn't something that Franklin Township came up with, it's a state.
I mean, I get it's a state, but the state, there's got to be a way to fight that. We got to push back against these people because bulldozer and all this, huh?
Yeah, we may be the last town in the state still in litigation over in this round. So it has been a protracted battle, and there's as Mr. Doyle said, there's no pending development application. This is the introduction of an overlay. There's somebody would have to do a heck of a lot more to move forward. They'd have to own the land, and they'd have to make the application, and they'd have to solve the water and sewer issues.
That's got to be a big one because Lily's Run is, it's a pretty sensitive area. It comes down to Franklinville Lake, and we're right down the street from Franklinville Lake, and a lot of people get their water from this.
None of those
watershed.
concerns are waived by this.
Good.
None of those
Good.
issues. They would have to still go through the formal.
So I can go home and tell my wife tonight they're not breaking ground next week.
No.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
Well, there's no be in your backyard. Well, not from affordable housing. Can you motion to close first public portion?
Motion closed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve correspondence and reports.
Make a motion to approve the correspondence and report.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from November 28th, 2023?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the bill list?
Make a motion to approve the bill list.
Second.
All, or,
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Keane?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
yes. Can I get a motion to approve the raffles?
Make a motion to approve the raffles.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to open a public hearing on ordinance 1923, amending ordinance 1518, volunteer job description and job classification of police chaplain and establishing the qualifications for the position.
Make a motion to open public hearing on 01923.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 1923?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve ordinance 1923?
Make a motion to approve 01923.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Keane?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. And we tabled ordinance 2023.
Mayor, as a housekeeping matter, is that being pushed till January?
At this point in time, I don't know.
Okay, because we only meet one more time this year. It would push it into
Listen,
January.
if it doesn't get done.
Okay, understood. My apologies for interrupting.
No.
Just to be clear.
No, I just think there needs to be discussion and some input on that. Some more input. Resolution, can I get a motion to approve resolution 22523, authorizing the mayor or his designee to sign a service contract with Barber Consulting Services?
Make a motion for R25523.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Keane?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion for resolution 25623, authorizing the tax collector to grant tax exemption for a totally disabled veteran?
Make a motion for R25623.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Keane?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Bruno?
Yes. Can I get a motion for resolution 25723, authorizing refund of grading for single-family dwelling escrow account balance totaling $193.25.
Make a motion for R25723.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Yes. Taking a motion for resolution 25823, reviewing and approving the Franklin Township Fire Commissioner District number 4 salary for 2024.
Make a motion for R 253-23. 258, sorry.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Taking a motion for resolution 25923, authorizing a refund to Sunrun Installation Services Incorporated.
Make a motion for R 259-23.
Second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Yes. Taking a motion to introduce the following ordinance. The public hearing will be December 26th at 5 p.m. First one's ordinance 2123, supplementing chapter 138, total affordable housing by adding section 13811, entitled Affordable Housing Regulations of the Code of the Township of Franklin to address the requirements of the Fair Housing Act, the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, and the Township's affordable housing obligations.
Make a motion to introduce O 2123.
Second.
All those in favor? Yeah, roll. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next one's ordinance 2223, amending chapter 253, land development to establish inclusionary affordable housing overlay zones.
Make a motion for O 2223.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next one's ordinance 2323, replacing chapter 138, affordable housing, article 1, development fees of the Code of the Township of Franklin.
Make a motion for O 2323.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next one's ordinance 2423, amending the planning board and zoning board checklist to address the requirements of the settlement agreement and order entered in the case of IMO Township of Franklin, Gloucester L 90115, addressing the township's affordable housing obligations.
Make a motion for introduction of O 2423.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next one's ordinance 2523, authorizing the sale of certain land in the Township of Franklin to be sold at private sale in accordance with NJSA 48:12-13C.
Make a motion to introduce O 2523.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 2623, releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights to a portion of paper streets.
Make a motion for O 2623.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Taking the motion to open the second public portion for any comment.
Make a motion for the second public portion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John Stipik, 2075 Main Road. Good evening, committee members. So as most of you probably know, I'm the current chairman of the Franklin Township Environmental Commission, and I have some questions concerning the Environmental Commission. Can any of you provide us with an update about the grant for the Piney Hollow preservation upgrades? Last I heard that the bid packet was being put together. I didn't know if that was completed.
Last meeting.
Okay. Next question is about Malaga Lake Park. There are some grant funding opportunities available. I believe it's through Green Acres. Is that being pursued?
I believe every grant opportunity comes through, we are pursuing for recreation.
Okay, so something specific for Malaga Lake Park is an option?
Today about culinary, what's that?
Yeah, the playground equipment is the biggest issue at the moment. It's in pretty bad shape.
Conference call from Matt on Monday, and it's going forward. We went through all the preliminary details about who would do what part of it, DPW and the other groups, and the kids, a group was bringing in about 25 kids with handicaps that would be able to voice their needs and want
That's great.
their parents.
That's encouraging.
The thing I read, each grant is $700,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
Well, the Environmental Commission has been working on conceptual plans for upgrades at Malaga Lake Park, so we'd be happy to provide any insight in any manner we can help with that. Next question. A couple months ago, there was an ordinance about street trees. I believe that had to be adopted by the end of the year as part of the stormwater regulations. Where does that stand?
The adoption deadline got pushed into next year.
Okay.
There's many forces at work on that.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's part of a bigger program.
Exactly. It involves all the stormwater management and the varying needs of different communities, urban, suburban, rural, like ours. So we're waiting for additional developments in that before we take more action.
Okay.
We're still on deadline. We're still within the deadline.
As far as I understand, there's a provision in that ordinance that would, we would have to provide tree replacement for any street trees that are removed. So we would have to choose locations and tree species for replacing street trees that are removed. So if you could possibly involve the Environmental Commission, I think we can also provide some valuable insight in that. Some of the environmental commissioners have gone to New Jersey shade tree conferences and been trained specifically about information concerning those points. My next point is about Environmental Commission appointments. I emailed some of you about appointments. Our liaison to the Planning Board hasn't been present since January. He's been absent for the last 11 months. As you know, the Planning Board liaison to the Environmental Commission is the most important voice for sensitive environmental concerns in Franklin Township. So if we had somebody that would actually show up, that would really serve the public. I think it's an important role to fill. So if you guys could find somebody that was, and there's also the same issue with our alternate members. One alternate position has been vacant for years. The other alternate position, that member hasn't shown up in 22 months. We haven't seen him since January of last year. So I know it's not always easy to fill these positions, but if you could make an effort to do that, it would be greatly appreciated. And that's all I got, so thank you.
Good evening, Nancy Kennedy, 711 St. George Street. Unfortunately, the 2nd December meeting happens to fall after a very important holiday for my family, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to be here. So since this is the last Township Committee meeting for now, where Ms. Flame, Deputy Mayor Flame, will be sitting as a committee member, I just wanted to take a minute and thank you on behalf of myself and my family for all of your service to Franklin Township. You and I have known each other for a very long time, beginning back when our kids were babies in the PTA, and now one has graduated and the other ones are about to graduate for the most part. Heather, you know, it's so frustrating to have a knowledge of politics and to watch the way that you were treated in this election cycle by people who were supposed to be in your party. It's very disheartening to have seen the work that you did for this township and know that, at least for now, you're not going to be doing it in an official capacity. And anytime I go to Delsey and I run into Officer Holcraft or I run into Sergeant Driver, I remember that you had a burning passion to bring us up to speed with the rest of the county and get school resource officers into our schools. And I thank you very much for that. My children have certainly benefited it, and I know all of the children in the township have. Also, when Iona Lake was going to be drained, you and your running mate at the time, Leah Vasallo, were very concerned, made it a priority. I continue to enjoy Iona Lake, and I thank you very much for that. The senior lunch program, there was a lot of behind the scenes that went on, and I won't say what it was or who the people were who were basically not helpers of the senior lunch program, but you stepped forward and you said, I've seen firsthand how seniors benefit from social interaction, and it needs to be a priority for this township for that senior lunch not only to continue, but to improve. So for that, I thank you. People who are in that seat for the right reasons and who legitimately want to serve the township, and there have been people who are Republican, who are Democrat, who are independent, who are there for the right reasons. Sometimes it feels like they're few and far between, but you are certainly one of them, and I will forever be grateful for you taking the time that you did from your family and from your job to serve us all so very, very well. And I look forward to seeing what God calls you to do in the future, because I know you're always listening to him and doing your best to serve him. And I look forward to seeing what he has you do, because I suspect that, again, your community will benefit. Thank you.
Harry Kennedy, 1578 Fry's Mill Road. Mayor, has there been any announcement as to who will serve on the board that will do the master plan?
I believe so, yes.
And
You could talk to Joe Pesh, the planning board.
Joe Petch. Joe Petch? Petch, chairman of the planning board. Such an independent voice to name those members. Do you know who those members are, Mr. Bruno? Did you have any input in the naming of any of those members? No? You don't know who they are. This is the most...
I saw the names that were submitted, that's all I saw.
And do you have a list of those names, Mr. Bruno? Do you know those names?
I know some of them,
Could you share who those names are?
Mr. Pesh can share the name.
You don't want to share them now?
I don't really know if I remember them all.
Yeah. How many members were there going to be? Do you know? 7? And of those 7 members, you don't recall any. Is Mr. Petch going to serve?
Yes.
Yes, and
Travelione's one.
Mr. Travelone, very good.
There you go.
Mr. Ransom. Mr. Brandt.
Yes.
Yes. No, he's not on plan. No, he's on the special board to do the master plan. Sarah Thurston, Suzanne McCarthy, and any members of the township committee going to serve on that particular group?
Nope.
So we have Mr. Petch, who's a member.
Ralph?
There's 6 members, Mr. Mayor.
6, okay.
Yes.
And all 6 have been named.
6 have been named. You wouldn't know if those people submitted resumes or asked to be appointed, or were they just summarily appointed by Mr. Petch, or you have no knowledge?
I would say,
Well, I would hope they did too, at least in some cases. That
I can speak here
Yes.
on behalf of Suzanne McCarthy. She was recommended by Mrs. Halpern, and I believe Suzanne McCarthy.
Excellent choice, Jonathan. Excellent choice. Suzanne, yes, she has. Suzanne, Sarah, 2. Yes, Mr. Ransom was mentioned as well in the meetings. Is Mr. Ransom a new member of the planning board this year?
No.
No? I thought he was just appointed. I thought he was an alternate on the planning board. But he was appointed to be on the, is Mr. Ransom is he a contractor? Yeah, he's a contractor, isn't he, Mike? Is Mr. Brand a contractor? Is Mr. Petch an electrical contractor? Well, it's okay, all right. So you have 6 members, and of course you have Ralph. Right, you have Ralph on there as a representative of the Agricultural Committee. I would strongly suggest, Mr. Mayor, in any committee that's as important, you heard Mr. Marsh talk about how important it was to have input as to what was going on. I would strongly suggest that this township committee make sure that those meetings are open to the public, that there is a chance for input from the public, that there is a chance for a broad spectrum of voices to be heard, that the majority of people on the committee don't cover as window dressing the 2 environmentalists that are on there, that we have an input that benefits the township and not any one individual as to property realignment or changes. We saw several things happen when we went to highway commercial, and we saw things that were allowed in terms of the cutting down of trees or to be put into environmentally sensitive areas. Again, it's a planning process for the entire community. It's not a planning process to benefit any one or two individuals. It's a very, very important legacy that you'll leave, Mr. Mayor. Whether you leave this year or in years in the future, it'll be one of your legacies for the township. Let's make sure it's a legacy that very much preserves what the citizens of Franklin Township want and what's best for all the residents of Franklin Township, and that it has the input of every interested citizen. There are a lot of great people in this town, and you've done a good job on many of the boards. Recreation Commission is a perfect example. Environmental Commission and some of your appointments as to who served on what board, another example of what your interests are. But let's very much make this one a legacy that you'll be proud of. Thank you.
Barber Halpern, Harding Highway. Good evening again. Since you brought up the Master Plan Committee, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if you're aware of it, but there was an article in the ANJAC News. I don't know if you read that. I think ANJAC, Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions, related to legislation that's currently being proposed at the state level regarding warehouses and master plans. And one of those pieces of legislation will provide funding for master plan updates. So if that passes, that could cover the expensive cost of our planner who's going to write this and attend all these meetings. There'll be other legislation that's going to be introduced and may pass that will also affect warehouse siting, whether it would end up having regional oversight as well as local oversight. There's, I think, 4 or 5 bills, and it would be a good idea to either postpone the master plan until, the second quarter of 2024 in order to see if any of these bills actually become laws so that we can get the funding and we can get the guidance that the state is going to give us so we don't end up creating a master plan that's in opposition to new legislation.
I believe that this isn't going to be finished anytime soon.
Right. So leave the door open when it comes to at least the subject of warehouses, because the state has heard the public. The outcry's been big enough that we have, like I said, several bills that are now being worked on up there that are actually potentially going to be voted on within the next few months. So I look forward to the master plan. I'm glad you appointed Suzanne McCarthy, and I think she'll do a wonderful job. And I'm glad that it'll be open to the public, and I plan to be there and hopefully, give whatever insight I can during the public portion.
You said ANJAC?
Yeah, ANJAC, the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions. Is that correct, Don? Yes. ANJAC, yeah. There's a newsletter. I think Jonathan probably gets it.
Yes.
And maybe you want to share the last newsletter with some of the other members.
Yeah, I can forward it around to you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, or I actually.
On the website, you see it, right, or no?
I don't think you can get the same info, but I actually did cut and paste the link to this article, and I could send it out. I was going to send it to Mr. Finley, but I didn't get around to it. And I could do that and have him forward it, copy you.
Send it to him too.
Yeah, I would copy all of you on that.
Especially if it's a grant thing or something like that.
Well, if it passes, it will be money for every municipality to address the master plan updates, which would really help us. So, now I think John brought up the Green Acres grant. Are they pursuing the Green Acres grant for Malaga or other grants? Don't know,
I'm
because
sure it was from Alan.
I think Malaga was our priority.
yeah, but you don't know if they're going with the actual Green Acres grant because there's so much to that grant.
There was a Green Acres, but the one I saw today, that
Yeah, Water Street, special access.
I think anyone.
So is the Green Acres one. It funds Jake's Law playgrounds, which that's what that is, right? Yeah.
I
so-
think
I think
everything
Matt
that
worked on
comes
that.
grant-wise, he's submitting.
Okay, because there is a lot that has to be done for those grants, being the person who did it for Piney. There has to be presentations, there has to be resolutions, there has to be a lot of things that have to occur by February 7th, so, and advertising and such. So hopefully he's well into the process, and we'll be seeing something on your agenda soon, and something on your agenda soon as far as the bidding for the Plenty Hollow project, because it's been months that we've had the okay for Green Acres to put this out to bid. So seems like, you know, we should be able to move this along, and we should be moving it along very soon. Thank you.
Yes, I'll wait.
Dave Marshall, 67 New Road. I have a couple questions and then a couple of things I want to talk about. The chaplain position, which I think is a great idea. Anytime there can be a person of faith that is put in that kind of position, is a great idea. Just curious on any idea how many applicants, or does anybody know how many people have applied? I mean, I know it's a lot of training required for it, you know, to be able to handle that crisis and grief management and things like that. So I'm just hoping that with the right people apply. So that's what I was asking, just curious. Because excuse me?
Nobody applied.
Nobody has? No.
I'm not sure anything
I have not seen
put
one.
out yet either.
Okay, I didn't know if it was or not. I thought it was prior to this, but maybe I was wrong. But I was just curious. The last meeting, I brought up some concerns with the elimination of grant money that was going on, and I brought up my concerns about it, and everybody had voted it through. I've done a little bit more digging, and there's a lot more to it than what I found at that point in time. I'd handed my paperwork to you, Mr. Lyons. I was wondering if you had a chance to investigate it.
Yeah, I did follow up on it. There was, as you pointed out, there was a discrepancy in review. Mr. Finley was able to determine where the disconnect was. I don't have that information, but there was a numbering issue with the resolution, so I think he was able to trace it straight all the way back.
Okay, so even though it was approved at a meeting and signed off on by a mayor and the clerk, that was all fake? Or I mean, it was a mistake?
No. I didn't say it was.
Okay.
I did not say.
I'm just looking for some clarification, because I can find everything, I's and T's are crossed, but.
The night and the night of and the day after you brought it forward.
Okay, and nothing was found odd, besides a discrepancy?
No, I didn't say it was not.
Okay.
There was an explanation as to what had occurred, one that wasn't readily noticed on that document that you brought forward.
Something you're willing to share, or?
Yes, but I wasn't, I don't have it here tonight.
Okay, I'll get it off you the next meeting then.
Okay. Thank you.
Nope, no, just figured to ask. During the December 5th zoning board meeting, and the reason I'm bringing this up, as you know, we've had our discussions multiple times about the dollar store and all the problems and things that can't be changed because it was all previously approved when that building was built and went all through the proper site plans and all at that point. There was a gentleman who bought the Dockery property had come forward, and he was going to be putting a building up pretty much over top of where an existing hoop building was, you know, very similar dimensions and things like that. And then there was a neighbor complaining about some things, some of them valid complaints. But there was what looked like an apparent favoritism played towards that individual. And even two members specifically, led this individual into what, as a neighbor, they should ask for this business to do. It was the oddest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it looked like a complete setup. Like they led this neighbor down the path to come up with something that fit that neighbor's needs specifically, like it was all prearranged. And I don't know if anybody's aware of this or noticed it, but I mean, it's something definitely that warrants some investigation. I mean, it looks like a pretty serious case of, if not nepotism, at least cronyism of some point. I mean, it was pretty blatant. And I just want to make sure you're aware of it, because I know a lot of times you had mentioned, Mayor, you live day to day the township needs and things that go on, but a lot of times you don't have a chance to see the other meetings. Well, this is one you want to watch. Because like I said, there's some definite blatant goings on there, and maybe you can give me some clarification in the next meeting, but it's looked pretty bad. So I want to make sure you're aware, and if it's something did go on that way, I mean, I want to know how I can get the dollar store fixed, because this person, everything they asked for, they got led right down a path and got that business to have to put out a huge amount of money to fix things. So maybe I can get a little bit of enlightenment on that, and maybe you can give me a checklist or who I need to talk to or what I can do to get the dollar store fixed.
That would be something you should probably take up on the zoning.
Well, the zoning board doesn't have any public portion, so I can't. So I brought it up here and at the planning board, and I keep getting pushed back and forth over the last year on it. So because they don't have a public portion, I can't address it with them, so I'm addressing it to our elected officials. So it's something that definitely you want to be interested in. Thank you.
Thanks. What was the date on that?
December 5th.
December 5th.
Good evening again. Chris Sayers, 184 Mount Lake Boulevard. Believe it or not, I am sick and tired of coming up here and talking all the time.
I have to tell you, I don't believe it.
Oh, trust me, I detest.
You go home and you watch this on TV.
No, I detest looking at myself on
That's what I
camera.
think. You have your opinion, I have mine. But go ahead, Chris.
So there's been a lot of issues over the past year about certain planning developments, warehouses, dollar stores, solar panels, affordable housing. I mean, it's been a tumultuous year for a lot of people in the township. And that's what brings me up here to stress the importance of the master plan commission that's going to be revising our current master plan and to make accommodations for a lot of these hot button issues that bring the township out, that brings me out to talk about these issues. I just want to reiterate how important that process is and how important it is to have the public involved in this process, and to have the public feedback from the residents, because it's, in the end of the day, it's the residents that have to live with these decisions that the Master Plan Commission is going to make, which is why the group that I'm a part of is holding a master plan meeting at the library. Hopefully it's a lot smoother than last time.
I think, but just for clarification,
Yeah.
the master planning committee is just going to discuss the new recommendations to the plan,
Yes,
and then everything is going to be.
yes. Well, this,
So, like these 6 people or 5 people that, we're going to try to pick apart for whatever reason.
oh, no. Look. I've been adversarial in the past, but it's not my choice to be adversarial.
If you look at the group, there's men, women, farmers, builders, alarm guys, whatever. It's a pretty broad group to make decisions.
Yeah, and it's
Not going to make decisions.
it is not my want or desire to be adversarial with these people, just like it's never been my desire to be adversarial with anybody on the dais here tonight.
I
Yeah.
just mean in general,
Yeah.
like, these poor people are.
I'm just saying the residents in the community, we have a lot to offer, a lot of great ideas. And so we're holding a meeting basically just to teach the community about what the master plan is, because I'm sure there's a lot of confusion there as to even what it is, and just to ask them what kind of township they'd like to live in. And
I think some of the people on there have done it before. Ralph, you been on this before?
Yes.
Joe's been on it.
So when you guys have that meeting, I'm sure you're going to make good notes.
Suzanne.
yeah, we just hope to forward that along to the committee, just as recommendations, just as,
To the subgroup and then.
Exactly.
The planning board and obviously to us.
yes, yeah.
Just the more information.
But it's just unfortunate that it has to be a private individual or individuals that have to do these kinds of things. Same thing with affordable housing. We were supposed to give our feedback, our input in a special session to talk about these issues, because as a community, we all have to deal with them. But unfortunately, it's the residents that have to come together to have these meetings, to make these recommendations. And again, it's certainly not, in my opinion, it's not my desire to be adversarial. I want to be as helpful as possible. And I want to make the decisions that you all have to make that much easier so that you have the community backing behind you. So, I mean, again, it's just something to think about. I really hope that we can work together. And I just hope you have open ears, open hearts. And that's all I have to say. And I honestly hope I don't have to be up here talking anymore.
I know, but this isn't about me. This isn't about me. I just want to bring to your attention a concern that residents have that has nothing to do with me. People are complaining that, I just want to know, is Visconti growing yet? Because people are complaining about a smell coming in that area, and they're all attributing it to that facility, and I'm not aware that they're open.
He knows, yes, he is.
Oh, he is, okay. Because when I asked the police department, they didn't know. So, thank you, I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Wesley Sohel, 194 Sandra Way. I came here tonight because I wanted to get some help. I'm going on 2 years now with trying to understand Atlantic City Electric And they're, yeah. Yes, I've heard.
Whoa, I don't want that.
So Atlantic City Electric, coming on 2 years now, has blocked out Franklin Township
Solar?
for solar, correct? And all neighboring communities, their grids are open. As an electrical engineer, I've challenged them. I've brought along the Board of Public Utilities, and we've been stonewalled. I think it's unfair that AC Electric has been continuing to increase our rates and also continue to lock us out. The final word I got from one of their utility managers was that their substation was overloaded, which is a load of crap. I've done calculations. I've met with specialists from PSE&G,
Where's Sandra?
Wadebridge Chase. Yes.
You're out of that new sub. The school's out of that new sub as well.
Yes. Our grid is NJ2553.
Work
Yep.
there, but what I heard was there's a certain capacity, and once you meet that capacity, that's it. And I heard that years ago. Because I think when that first went in, the township, the schools, and some other people were kind of put to the request was they would be put to the front of the list for solar.
Mhm.
The school hasn't gone out of solar, the township doesn't, but that's where that kind of went. And then the school over here on Kelsey. Rigger.
So who shared or established that capacity?
I have no idea. I'm
Right,
just telling
right.
you. Obviously,
So understanding what that capacity actually means in accordance to their substation, if anybody has any sort of knowledge with electrical engineering, they would understand that that's actually a load of crap.
I'm not.
When it comes to solar energy, it does not work that way. So I would like to know if the township would be able to inquire again whether or not there are plans in the future to upgrade their substation. That's all I'm looking to see.
The BPU would be they no longer
You got the
have.
Board of Public Utilities behind you, like saying they
We had an issue with
they were the
them.
ones.
Yeah.
Overcharging farms, and they were real out.
So at the end of the day, the Board of Public Utilities says that Atlantic City Electric is a private business, and they cannot tell them how to run their private business. But the only thing I'm looking to see is if the township would be able to inquire with Atlantic City Electric if there are any plans to upgrade their substation.
I have no problem doing
If
that.
you could make sure you leave your contact information.
Sir, could you state your name for the record? We weren't able to pick it up.
Wesley Sohail?
Yeah, you give us an email or whatever, and listen, I'll have the individual that I know that knows a little bit about it, contact.
Yeah, sure. I'm just looking to see if we are even on their plans to upgrade our substation. While everybody around us is getting upgraded, I think we shouldn't be left out either.
No, I understand that, but I know there's room for a second transformer there. I don't know what point in time they're gonna install that transformer, but
A transformer for what?
for that substation, because that would open up.
It's their substation that needs to be upgraded.
No, it's a brand new substation, it's not gonna be upgraded.
Brand new as of when?
130, how long ago was that? 10 years, 8 years?
Okay. In my emails with them that I can share, they've said that it's older than that.
Here's Joe Pesh, it was his,
Well, I'd love to exchange emails and see if we can get a straight answer.
yeah, not a problem. Leave us your email, and I'll talk to someone over there.
Sure.
and reach out.
Who do I leave my email with?
It wouldn't matter, Barb.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Do I have to repeat my name every time I go up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you.
Okay. I just want to make a quick comment regarding another resident's comment. I didn't, it's about the zoning board. I didn't attend the zoning board meeting, but I watched the zoning board meeting on the YouTube channel. And I'm quite intrigued now. I'm gonna have to go back and look at it, but serving as a member on the zoning board for several years and attending many zoning and planning board meetings, I didn't see anything nefarious at all that transpired at the zoning board meeting. And I think it's important because a comparison was made between a Dollar General and a zoning board meeting that the zoning board, what most people probably don't understand is they have very broad discretion to implement and require applicants to do certain things as a condition of approval, whereas the planning board doesn't have that same authority. I'm sure Mr. Lyons could, elaborate on that, but I think it's an important thing to communicate that to the public so they're aware of that. So, thank you.
Need a motion to close the second public portion?
Motion to close.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Designee, Chief, do you have anything?
Sure. Thank you. You'll have to excuse me. I'm a little under the weather. I won't. I have actually three real quick things, very positive things. This weekend we had our holiday with a hero. I unfortunately couldn't make it because I was sick. However, it was a great turnout. I really want to thank the Goldsmith family from town and Hyper Bikes. Every child got a bicycle. The firemen and police officers took all the kids shopping, and it was just a great day. So,
That was 70 kids.
yes. Second, tomorrow a 10-year-old girl who lives in our township who has cancer, who hasn't been home in several weeks, has been released from the hospital. Now, she has a long road ahead of her. However, she has been released for Christmas to go home. So myself and a bunch of the fire companies are going to be getting together and escorting her home tomorrow. So you see a long parade from Main Road School about 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be us taking her home. And speaking of heroes, last night our officers and our fire departments rescued 3 people from a house fire in Malaga and saved their lives. So a big round of applause for our first responders, please. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan, you have anything?
So Public Works, the last 5-6 weeks has been a little stressed out. We've had holidays and a lot going on with equipment. The crew from top to bottom has really done a great job. I just wanted to thank them personally and let everybody know.
Where are we at with your collection?
Leaf collection, we're probably 2 days behind schedule. So I'm saying we're
Wednesday, correct?
We're on Wednesday, yeah. So we had crews working, picking up trash at 7 o'clock at night, a couple of nights last week, over the holidays and stuff. And I just want to thank my crew and thank everybody out there. So.
Thank you. Committee reports, John?
Mr. Mayor, I apologize for being late to the meeting this evening. Flag salute is probably one of my favorite parts. I made the roll call, I missed the flag salute. I apologize for that. Communication meets tomorrow. There are some public comments on the website. If you want to attend and address that, please feel free. We are definitely more than willing to address any concerns with the website. And this past month, we had a nonprofit in town approach us about a co-op with another nonprofit in Uswakanda Lake Park to build out these handicap play areas. Mr. Lyons, if you could stay after I had a couple comments for you. Barb was at the meeting that you attended on behalf of Matt. Yes. Excellent. That's all for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Just to touch on what the Chief said, we said I attended that Shop with a Cop, Holiday with a Hero. It was an overwhelming response from Gloucester County officers, and managed to be proud of the officers. Everyone showed up, except the ones that were working midnights, I think, which you can't blame them. And the only people I didn't see there was the media, the ones, that villainize and demonize the cops, makes us all, killers, and we're all racist. And not one media was there. I'm not talking about you, Cindy. I'm talking about the big media ones, the ones that walk.
I had three photographers there. So, yeah, I was there.
They were invited. They were invited.
Yeah, well, of course they went shopping. There was, it doesn't fit their narrative. But I just want to applaud the department. I'm proud of being a prior member of that department. You guys did great. I applaud your department. Thank you, man. Thank you.
I want to take this time to tell everybody to have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Be safe out there. We all know it's a crazy time of year. And enjoy the time with your families.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate what Mike said. about the holiday with Hero. I think it's the second or third year. It's just amazing to watch the kids. I mean, it's sad in one aspect, but the cops are there. They let them get whatever they want. And it's pretty disheartening when you see a kid, 8-year-old kid, shopping for food for his family instead of buying gifts for himself. And I've seen that quite a bit. And it's that time of the year where you have the haves and the have-nots, and hopefully people are donating and doing whatever they can to help these families that are less fortunate than everyone else. And watching these guys, and for the past few years doing this, I mean, it really pulls your heartstrings. The turnout, like Mike said, was phenomenal. You had the sheriff's department, you had Williamstown, you had Elk, Clayton. Cindy Parker, she works along with Matt, and they've done a great job. Cindy was there, Press was there, Press wasn't there.
Great photographers.
Did you get my picture?
Yeah, I think we did.
You didn't print it? You didn't print it? What's the sense? That's dartboard material, Cindy.
Look, I got the mayor of Clayton. He's on the front page. You want to print
I bet he is, because he's a Democrat.
That's okay. That's okay.
Heather said it, I'll say it, everyone, a blessed Christmas. We'll see you the day after Christmas at 5 o'clock, and thank you for coming out. Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So